Tinubu storms Nairobi. African leaders push big economic deals at Kenya summit. And that's the headline for now. We'll be back soon with more breaking stories and major updates from across Nigeria and around the world. Stay tuned and thanks for watching. Tinubu storms Nairobi. African leaders push big economic deals at Kenya summit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your international political update. Tonight, all eyes are on Nairobi, Kenya, where African leaders have gathered for a major continental summit focused on the future of Africa's economy, trade, investment, and global partnerships. Among the key leaders at the event is Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who joined heads of state, global investors, and international partners for high-level discussions aimed at reshaping Africa's economic future. The summit, hosted in Kenya's capital city of Nairobi, has brought together leaders from across the continent alongside representatives from Europe, development banks, and private sector organizations. Kenyan President William Ruto welcomed delegates, while French President Emmanuel Macron also played a leading role in discussions surrounding Africa-France cooperation and investment opportunities. According to officials at the summit, one of the main goals is to create stronger partnerships that can help African nations tackle economic hardship, unemployment, rising debt, and infrastructure challenges. Leaders are also discussing climate financing, energy development, technology investment, and trade expansion across the continent. President Tinubu, speaking during the gathering, emphasized the need for Africa to have a stronger voice in global financial decisions. He reportedly called for fairer lending systems and better access to international funding for developing nations. The Nigerian leader also highlighted the economic potential of Africa's largest economy, saying Nigeria remains open for investment in key sectors including energy, agriculture, transportation, technology, and the blue economy. Tinubu explained that Africa should no longer be viewed only as a continent facing challenges, but as a growing economic force filled with opportunities for global investors. Now, analysts say the summit comes at a very important time for many African countries. Across the continent, governments are battling inflation, unemployment, currency pressure, and rising living costs. For Nigeria in particular, economic reforms introduced by the Tinubu administration have sparked both praise and criticism. Supporters argue that the reforms are necessary for long-term economic recovery, while critics continue to raise concerns over the rising cost of living affecting ordinary Nigerians. Despite these concerns, Nigerian officials insist the government is focused on attracting foreign investment and creating new opportunities that could strengthen the economy over time. At the summit, discussions also centered on regional trade and cooperation under the African Continental Free Trade Area, often called AfCFTA. Leaders believe stronger trade relationships between African countries could reduce dependence on foreign imports and help create millions of jobs for young people across the continent. Security and political stability were also part of the conversations behind closed doors. Several African nations continue to face insecurity, political tensions, and humanitarian crises, making regional cooperation more important than ever before. Observers say the presence of leaders like Tinubu, Ruto, and Macron shows growing international interest in Africa's economic future. Many global investors are now looking toward African markets as areas of potential growth in technology, manufacturing, renewable energy, and infrastructure development. Meanwhile, social media reactions to the summit have been mixed. Some Nigerians praised President Tinubu for representing the country on the global stage and seeking investment opportunities. Others questioned whether international meetings like this would lead to direct improvements in the daily lives of citizens back home. Political commentators say Nigerians will be watching closely to see whether the summit produces concrete agreements that can translate into jobs, economic growth, and improved living standards. As the summit continues in Nairobi, more announcements are expected regarding investment partnerships, trade agreements, and regional economic cooperation plans. One thing remains clear tonight: Africa's leaders are under increasing pressure to deliver real economic results for millions of citizens across the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the latest update from Nairobi, Kenya. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more breaking African and international political updates.